Hey everyone, this is it, the 2022 LEGO modular building. It's the Boutique Hotel. This set comes with 7 minifigures and 2 very small little cart side builds. I'll leave the figures there for just a moment as I take you around the different major exterior angles just so you get an idea for the overall shaping here. This has one main building and then one very, very small one off to the side. As you can see, this is intended to be the most camera unfriendly angle, but as has become the trend with the most recent modulars, they don't have a bunch of random colors showing up through here to support interior builds and interior details that are attached through the walls, in spite of the fact that the walls are, for the most part, only a single brick wide. So that's actually rather good. I appreciate that. And this center level is indeed made from the old light flesh tone. A lot of bricks were recolored into that tone. It's now called light nougat. This down here is medium nougat. In between there, that's a strip of dark orange. There's another dark orange. Obviously, you got the sand green, a bunch of pieces in that color. That's white. That's just regular tan. And coming around to this side, to the small building off to the side, that's just, it actually does share one bit of a wall. This is dark tan. Just, you know, everybody has different color settings. I just wanted to cover that right from the start. What used to be the light flesh tone for the center floor there felt very awkward to me initially when I first opened up the bag to start working on that center floor, because that is indeed just a light skin tone from LEGO, and a realistic light skin tone at that. Once the contrasting colors came in, especially the brown window frames and then a little bit with the white columns, it started to feel very comfortable and very classy. Let me come back the other way with a focus on the exterior of the ground floor, and then I'll look at the interior of it as well. These flowers are in the coral color, which is relatively new, and these small details inside the windows, or just at the top of the window frames, are a lacquered, drum lacquered gold, so the nicest, most metallic looking gold. Nothing here is too fancy in how it's actually built, honestly. There's a little bit of studs on the side construction here, but most of what you see here is pretty straightforward. As a matter of fact, in spite of the fact that this has a very strange angle, the whole thing has a very strange angle to get this portion of the building to cut diagonally through the block on top of the base plate, the regular 32 by 32 base plate it's on, the entire construction process felt very normal. It didn't feel like I was having to do any strange gymnastics with pieces. It just felt very easy going, to be honest, with very few areas that felt tricky at all to actually assemble. Every single decoration that you see in this is a print. There are no stickers in the set whatsoever, and some of that is rather deluxe, if you ask me. So the stairway goes up to an upper level. It's just a small outdoor bar. We'll take a look at that from the top, but I wanted to point out that the stairway has a little bit of studs on the side construction, so these lower 4 stairs are actually done with the studs out this way, and then the next ones up are done with studs up on top, just normally. This is a little drinking fountain off to the side with some nice tile work to the inside, and this is a gallery. The inside of this has a lot of really interesting stuff that can be a little bit difficult to see without completely taking it apart. A little bit difficult to see from realistic angles. You can really experience the interior and appreciate the interior best when you're building it. I will do what I can, though. I tend to not like to take things completely apart and give you an unrealistic look at details that in real life you're not going to see once the thing is put together, or from angles that you're not going to see. This painting here, this art installation, is my favorite in the gallery because you fully build it up from just regular pieces, and it actually goes through the wall. It's a 2-stud wide or 2-stud deep piece that goes all the way through the wall and becomes something else on the other side, even though this wall right here itself is only one single stud deep, or one single brick deep. This installation is something very special for a lot of older LEGO fans, especially because this represents the old Creator Expert logo, and you can display it different ways. I just thought it was better to keep the mount away from you, but that just uses headlight bricks to create the old Creator Expert logo and puts it on a nice plinth, and it's convenient that you can actually take it out. There's a little something underneath the stairs. It is a hat, just a plain black small top hat on a black minifig head on, in turn, a small black plinth. And I think that's a reference to Town Hall. You know, the designers like to put references into previous versions of modulars. Bringing this back around the other way, there's the main desk for the curator. That's a very simple one. And then here's a Mondrian style painting done once again with regular brick building. And once again, it is only a single stud deep, which is just fantastic. And it has no studs exposed here. I love that very much. And there's also one more installation in here that you can actually pick up. That's a simple one because it just relies on a print. That's nice. It's a Lego-ified painting here. Handful of pieces, but it's extra deluxe to get an exclusive print for that. Realistically though, even with the roof removed, there's not a whole lot of space in here. It's fairly cramped, and you can basically just put one patron in the space. And even at that, it's a little difficult to find a perfect spot for them to actually be able to stand without running into some art. And then you'd have one person behind the desk. And then the small roof above the gallery has probably the single most divisive and questionable element in the whole set. It's this thing that they refer to as a palm tree. I kind of saw it more as a cycad myself, but whatever you see it as, it has lime green colored leaves, which feel extra plasticky and out of place. Everything else color-wise in this set ends up being fairly classy, and this just stands out a lot. It also uses the Queen Whatever Wannabe crown pieces down here from the Lego Movie 2. The whole thing is in a pot, and I think that most people who dislike the look of this set from the outside would like to just take this, pick it up, and put it somewhere else, or at least change out the colors. I'll do a little bit of experimentation with that later in the video. But with that out of the way though, you see there's just a small bar over here and a couple of small standing tables. And again, classy. It's the word of the day, if you ask me. This is set up pretty nicely. I appreciate the full banister, a little extra vine work along the back, and also some wrought iron details up here, which are done fairly simply, but they're very effective. Before I move to the interior of the main space, I want to take you back behind the gallery to another point of contention, probably the other main point of contention in the design of this whole thing, this alley space back here. Every single modular building has had a bunch of empty space behind it, beside it, in some way or another. There's a bunch of base plate area that does not get used. And in this case, it's a very small rectangle, very easy to put just one other thing in here and then you're golden. They use this small dumpster, one of the nicest, really, really small, maybe even smaller than minifig scale properly, dumpster designs I think that I've ever seen, just to provide that additional attachment point there. So you've got the standard 2, and this does open, and in spite of how small it is, it has space inside of it. They put a white croissant inside of there to be a little nod to the Parisian restaurant build. I'm going to do something a little naughty here and suggest that if you don't like the tree and you don't like this open space, try to find a way to get the tree to fit back there. It kind of kills two birds with one stone, or one palm tree. The feeling of everything changes dramatically for me when I come over here and look at the main lobby space, because all this stuff over here was done to just fit into the available space, whereas this leaves plenty of room to walk around. This is a nice open lobby. I mean, look at how much space, how much floor space there is in there. And there are nice designs on the floor. I really could have used more studs, more available studs to actually connect minifig feet to around here, but this is a very effective, well placed design. It's not just designed for the sake of showing off what you can do with different colors of tiles. It really kind of points into a waiting lounge, just sofa basically over on that side, or wide chair. It also brings you up, kind of brings the eyes up to the staircase that go to the next level. It provides a good point to stop by the main desk there, and just draws you in from the main entrance from this square here. There's just a lot of really artful stuff I think is done nicely here. There's a nice vase there with some flowers, and then when you get to the main sign-in area, the the front desk. That is an exclusive print for the visitor or guest book. There's a suggestion of a bell there. Enough space behind the counter for someone to comfortably stand. Telephone there, which also has a print on it. That's one that we already saw from the police station. And that's where the art installation is on the other side. So the gallery is back here, and that's the art installation that I mentioned goes through the wall. So the other side of it has the keys on it, the keyboard there, old school, with the 3 keys for the suites upstairs plus a master key. There's also a painting on the wall over here continuing the art and also cubism theme. I personally interpret this to be a sunset over a meadow. So the orange tile represents the sun, just a little bit of haze in the sky, and then the lime green actually represents the reflection of the sun off of various leaves and blades of grass. Underneath the staircase over here is space to put the luggage cart, which I'll show you separately as a side build. The stairs are done very nicely over here, including the base being rounded off towards you. The top is also rounded, so it has a continuous theme there. The railings are done pretty well, and the seating over here has a very simple build, but it definitely looks like it fits in. This middle level is mostly striking because of the main color, because of that light nougat color. However, I think what really ties this together and really makes it work most is the use of the plain brown colored window frames. I think without that, any other choice there would not have worked well. It just kind of grounds the whole thing and also provides, again, the contrast that was needed. The build at this point is getting these columns in was odd, because when you first put them on, there are studs up here, there are hollow studs that really don't attach in many cases. They don't attach to the tops as you build up all of the columns at once. And it's just awkward. I just simply recommend that you don't put the hollow studs on the very top during that step, and just put them on in the next step when they're needed, and it works out just fine. It was just a weird choice there. Small little balcony here with a little bit of wrought iron railing around the outside. Not the most safe thing, but it has enough space for a single person to stand there or, and just enjoy what's going on the street, do some people watching, or to sit as well. You can also put maybe some object out there with them. These round window frames were introduced, a year or 2 ago in the Friends line. All the columns are done exactly the same, and you have a little bit of white going around here. But again, there's pretty good consistency, and you don't see other colors, you don't see other weird stuff coming through, except just in this one gap here. You see just a little bit around the corners. That is a little bit awkward. I think that this corner could have used just some round elements to cover this all up. And it's worse up above, but let's get inside this level. This has just a couple of small cramped areas that are a little bit difficult to see. One of them is the stairway here. Obviously, stairs come up from underneath, and then you have to walk around a very small space. Really not realistic for the minifigures, but it's important that this space be there to at least have the suggestion of access through the floors, and it is effective for that. No studs on these stairs, so you're really most likely not going to pose any figures along the way anyway. But there are two suites here. So one of them is the small, I guess, more economy suite, although it does have a nice view facing towards the street. So there's just the bed there, a single painting or photo on the wall. We've gotten that before. Really, really small little side table with a small lamp on it. And the dresser unit there is pretty straightforward. I like what I believe is the first ever official Lego wicker piece of furniture here. I think that's a wicker chair. I think that's what they were going for. I might be mistaken on that, but that's just kind of the impression that I get with the 3 Battle Droid arms next to one another, so you can adjust the angle of this. It's not the most effective thing for a figure. It's only going to be attached with 2 studs when you put it in there, the back studs of the leg, or the upper anti-studs of the legs, but it looks nice, and I think it works out pretty well. I think that this desk could have had something on it though. Just one little thing over there in the corner. Compare that to this larger suite. It's like a working suite. It's unfortunate that these doors do not want to stay closed no matter what. Of course, if this is just flat, then nothing's going to happen. But yeah, they're very, very loose. This is actually built up pretty nicely, this piece. Let me just pull out most of it for you. like so. You got a little bit of extra thickness and detail. This is mostly done with dark brown there. And then there's a table where you can do some work. So that's set up pretty nicely. A little bit different design with the mini ladder piece for the back of the chair. They've got the sand green base for the typewriter, a little suggestion of connection to the Ideas typewriter. A nice lamp, not made with too many pieces, but it definitely works. There's a built-up chair in the corner that you can just spin around on and get access to some nice views. There are pretty thick frames for these corner round frames for the windows. It's a little bit oppressive. It would be nice if that was more open to just look through from this side, but still you can just imagine the view for the minifigure. And then this one has not necessarily a nicer bed, just a different bed, and definitely a larger side table with a larger lamp as well. I just want to show you the underside of this also so you can see how this was well, that's not working so well, is it? Let me take a light out here entirely. Yeah, you can see it just a little bit better exactly how this is shaped, how those parts come together. It's just following the existing angle. So no new angle was created for this, but this is how they put it together with just a little bit of hinging up here and down in here. The top floor uses mostly sand green around the outside and has more depth and texturing and shaping for the windows. They really go in much deeper, give you a full sill, which includes a little bit of foliage and also a flower alternating back and forth between them. Most of this is just studs on top construction throughout. There's just a little bit of studs on the side for this and this curve. All of these from the outside are pretty even. You can also look at the bit of wrought iron detailing around the top. This is a new color for this fantastic piece right here. Very, very useful. And it's fairly consistent, like I said. You got also a dome element, which is built up with some hinged parts. It looks pretty nice. I like it just how it is. Probably would not have changed that if I had the ability to do anything to this. I think I would leave all this alone because it's pretty nice. The corner has a little bit different detail to it. This is a door that can open. You can just barely put a person back behind there, only just barely, but it is possible. I like the small white flowers used around here and also the arch shape here, which also kind of speaks to the arch shape below and also to the arch shapes over here for the side windows. It all kind of works together visually to me. And again, this is pretty much just continuing around what we already saw. Here you see more of the interior colors, which is fine, but the sand green does not continue all the way around. You got the tan and the white. Sorry about the focus going in and out, but I wanted to particularly call that out because of this section right here. That is not pretty. I do wish that this had just a row, if nothing else, just a row of sand green 1x1 cylinders just going down this with just a small tile on top just to fill in this corner. That's typically what Lego does. They'll just fill in a corner with some round bits, or they could have used these in some way, just something to hide that. It's a little bit unsightly and it's not completely hidden away either. It's very easy to have a view of that depending upon whether you have a tall building next to this or not. If you don't, you're probably going to see that. And then finally, looking at the roof itself, there is a skylight element here, which is done very, very simply, but effectively. It's just a little bit different design, and it doesn't completely draw your eye towards it when you're looking at this from the outside as a huge figure, just towering over a Lego city or a display. This is just nice and tasteful. Now, the entire top floor is dedicated to a single unit. It's a penthouse or possibly presidential suite. I wanted to pull this larger dresser drawer unit out and call attention to how the drawers are done down below, with the pneumatic T-pieces inserted into inverted 1x3 tiles. The same parts are used for the base of the second generation Unikitty head originally. It's just a really, really cool technique. It was very surprising when I initially put this together. And yet the whole thing is only 2 studs deep in total. You can even open up the doors up here and there's enough space to put something inside of here along the back row, which has studs on it. It's a little bit of a missed opportunity. If they put some detail in there, that would have been extra deluxe, but this was very clever. There's a nice chair or love seat over there done in black. Looks very luxurious. Surely that is actual leather. The bed is much larger. They've got the lamps on either side. Lampshades use the latest version of a cupcake tin or paper mold with the large stud open on top. Got the complimentary chocolate bar there, or box of chocolates. The frame of this is also done in dark brown. There's the little door out to the balcony there, and just across from the bed off to one side is a TV, old school TV, with a print to represent the show that is on it right now, which is very nice. That is just a white colored small window piece, but it's an exclusive print for this. You also have the torchiere over there, a tall neck lamp, and a small table for holding things coming in from room service, I'm assuming. And then this place has the bathroom. There's only one bathroom in the place, but they made it real nice with the tub, with a good build to it. We've got the toilet off to the side with the toilet paper holder as well. You got some bubble bath, I'm assuming bubble bath soaps there, and also the sink with a printed mirror. Now, that is just a drum lacquered bright silver print, so you're not actually going to see your reflection in that. It's not a proper chromed finish. They would have to do that as a sticker, I believe, to by today's standards, but it looks pretty good. I think a lot of people will appreciate not having to apply any stickers whatsoever. But overall, this is very deluxe here, and I'm happy that they give you plenty of space to, if you choose, put minifigures wherever you want. I appreciate having floor space, and all of the areas of this main building do have floor space and options for putting minifigs around and moving them around and playing with this if you want. Speaking of minifigs, here are the two new hotel employees on the left. That's a new print based in sand green, and the torso print is shared between the two, which is great. And on the right is the curator of the small gallery. I am very nostalgic towards classic basic smiley faces, but I personally much prefer to have these, to have different options, to have more possibilities in the Lego world. So I like the inclusion of different faces, and these are all very universal and can be used in other themes and with other modulars and such. Here are three guests. I should have mentioned that those first three minifigures that I just showed you do not have any alternate faces on them, so there's nothing that you missed. Each of these has something that they come with. It's nice to get this large wheeled luggage piece. Doesn't have actual wheels on it, but it represents a proper large traveling suitcase in the lime green there. We just don't get that piece enough since they first introduced it. But yeah, these all look pretty nice to me. I don't think there's anything new print-wise between these or with the hair or accessory pieces. This one is an alternate face back here, but it's an existing one that we've seen before, and this one also has an alternate face back there that, again, we've seen. And then finally, there's this Barista. Speaking of things that we've seen, it's the second generation version of Barista, of relatively nondescript Barista torso and existing print. The print for the legs is off just a little bit. Unfortunately, you can see for the legs it was shifted to one side. It's not too bad, but it's a very modern looking figure, so they're kind of not suggesting a specific time range or time frame of the entire scene. The Barista goes with this small coffee cart to go outside. It's a simple thing, but fairly charming. Nice small size. I think it scales very well. And the white and yellow awning is a reference back all the way to Cafe Corner. It's really cool that the press here has the hinge on it, so you can actually lift this. One other small side build is a luggage cart, which again is decently well scaled to a minifigure. Maybe just ever so slightly oversized, but I don't think you can do much better than this. And it has space to hold some of the luggage from the guest minifigs. Finally, there are a lot of leftover small pieces, so definitely hit pause if you want to check this out. A lot of stuff in here that is good, and some of it is new. Now, I paid $200 US for this, which is the same price as the police station, the last modular. And I feel like this is a similar amount of stuff, but I like this set a lot better. I firmly believe, after looking at this from many angles and spending some time with it, taking it apart, putting it back together, that the thing that will make people dislike this set. If there's going to be any one thing, it's definitely this. And as I mentioned earlier, I think it's mostly because of the color. If this had just been a nice little deciduous tree with regular green leaves, I think it would have been far less distracting. And I think even just taking this off entirely will probably make this feel better. This whole thing feel better to many folks. It's very distracting. It really grabs your eye. I was more forgiving of it personally when I first saw it, and I'm far less so now. Let me try a little color swap real quick though. I don't know. Does that help? I feel like that helps a little bit. I just alternated back and forth between bright green and a regular green. This feels a lot less jarring compared to the lime green that really just screamed at you. The shape still isn't ideal. Even for a palm or a cycad, I still feel like it could have been arranged a little bit differently, a little bit more traditionally, and it would have been a little bit less offensive to the eye, to the average eye. But I don't know, I think this is a little bit of an improvement. I think if you can do like this and just not look at that, if you like the rest of it, then I think you're gonna very much enjoy having this personally. The only remaining real question for me is, has this been able to unseat my personal all-time favorite, which it had a chance of doing, Parisian Restaurant? Simple answer is no. Again, this one definitely had a chance. As I was building it, even as I was reviewing it, I was like, you know what? There are a lot of things about this that are just so much more advanced, so much more technically perfect. Yeah, I keep using the word classy, but ultimately Parisian Restaurant remains my favorite overall. I like its middle of the road placement as opposed to corner unit. Feels more traditional. Has a good amount of charm, and the fact that you can play with this all the way around, I think really pushes this over the edge. Even though this is like every part of this, every individual part of the boutique hotel, I think looks better. As the sum of the parts, I think Parisian Restaurant just does it all, does the whole thing better. I forgot that Parisian Restaurant was also the one that had the blue dumpster in particular that I believe this one over here is referring to. $200 is still a lot of money. It seems to be the new benchmark, seems to be the new normal. It's not much we can really do about that. If you don't like that price, then you just don't play this game. I think that's okay. I always am a big proponent of things being cheaper, being more affordable, being more accessible. But at some point, you know, stuff does start to get priced out of the range of some fans, and $200, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. I recognize that, but I don't feel like this is overpriced by today's standards, unfortunately. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know in the comments what you think about this on the whole, what you think about the tree in particular, if you agree with me or disagree that this is the main issue with it, if you did have an issue with it at all, or if you even liked the original design, and also what you think of this relative to other modulars, if it has beaten any of the existing ones in your personal opinion in the series, and especially if you think it's particularly good or particularly bad. Looking forward to your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you again soon.
To show some love right over the lime green, this beautiful, vibrant color that just graces your eyes. Best believe the lime green, this pierces your soul. Lime green, we say to you, we love you.